Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Women's World. Today we will continue about our discussion about education and education technology and means of developing and reforming the educational sector here in Egypt, especially in light of COVID-19 and how the whole world shifted to online and in distance education. We're going first to watch a special report about distance learning and the application of technology in education, and we'll be right back. While the global COVID-19 pandemic has brought negative economic effects, it has allowed Egypt's school system to accelerate the use of technology in lessons. Persistent problems remain. Moreover, deficit-induced budgetary constraints have been deepened due to COVID-19, increasing emphasis on the need for private investment. Egypt's education system is the largest in the MENA region, according to the latest figures from the Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics, CAPMAS. K-12 enrollment stood at over 22.5 million for the 2018-2019 academic year. Article 19 of the Egyptian Constitution ensures all citizens the right to free primary and secondary education. It also requires that government spending on the sector equal at least 4% of GDP. However, expenditure has fallen short of this target in recent years and has been affected by the COVID-19. The Ministry of Education oversees instruction at the K-12 level, while the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research manages the implementation of education policy at the tertiary level, working closely with the Ministry of Education to ensure the same principles are followed across the system. For the next decade, the Ministry of Education will be focused on implementing a major new education reform program known as Education 2.0 or EDU 2.0. The country closed schools on March 15, 2020, in an effort to slow the spread of COVID-19. This moved the entirety of the education system online. The government quickly made agreements with telecommunications firms to provide free internet access to relevant ministries' websites, course materials, and learning portals. The government had undertaken digitalization efforts in the country's school system. The spread of COVID-19 and the closure of schools, however, has resulted in accelerated and more widespread adoption of technology in the country's education system, as social distancing measures limited nearly all traditional teaching methods. Aside from EDU 2.0, other education technology EdTech initiatives include the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, EKB, which the government hopes will aid in its Vision 2030 goal of turning the country into a global digital hub. The EKB was first introduced in January 2016 as a free source for learning and educational materials for all Egyptians. Following the outbreak of COVID-19, all content for primary and secondary classes was adopted to the EKB for student access. While progress has indeed been made within the country's education sector in recent times, the government's digitalization and transformation plans for the medium and long term are sure to make the coming decade considerably more fruitful than the last. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have with us now over the phone Dr. Jihan Zahran, education technology consultant, to talk to us more about education and the role of technology in it, and also distance education. A very good day to you, Dr. Jihan.
Hello.
Dr. Jihan, would you kindly talk to us more about how the whole world shifted to online education or distant education, and how technology helped in this shift?
All right. So let's agree together that there is standards and guidelines and parallel lines. It should be all together just to be able to improve the online or the distance learning. Okay. So first of all, we should have the content. We should have the digital content that we are agreed about from the beginning. Number two, we have the e-learning, which is the learning management system, that's the communicator between the parents, the students, and the administration. Okay? Once we agreed about that, we come to the next step. All right? So we should have the skills of the educators or teachers that they already guide their learners to have the research skills in the, the standard way or the basics way. We have smart boards in our schools, right? But how can we use it in the right way? Most of the teachers are using it, the PowerPoint presentations, and that's it. What we agreed about it, or what we should do in teachers and educators themselves, is the interacting. Interacting is the basic for the e-learning and the online learning. It's not just something as a document that teachers are sending to their students and receiving assignments which is already completed and full.
Yes.
No. This is something related to the interaction. How the USA or European countries are really have, that's a great option, and it's really a valuable option to have a homeschooling. So the homeschooling is all about depending on the online learning, completely online learning. And it is very strict, by the way, very strict. It has a certain time to submit your assignment. It has certain time to receive the lectures, to interact, or to just solve an online assessment in a certain time, and it's already coming back with analysis in the quickest and the fastest way in the whole world. So the online learning is not only depending on the infrastructure, okay? It's depending on the way of delivering the information.
Yes, yes.
Dr.
Jihan, now most universities and institutes focus more on practical training and qualifying the students for the markets, unlike previous years where the students would just get a degree and face the real world on their own and start receiving the training post-graduation. Now, most universities now train or qualify the students on what's going to happen in the real world and the market needs as well. How do you see that?
Yeah. So let's have a successful stories in most of the real good countries in education, like Germany, for example. It's an industrial company, right? It's an industrial, country. So this country said that I'm industrial one. So it's lead the education to its vision. I'm industrial country, so I am leading our guideline or improve the technical education. All right? So that's the market what I'm talking about. If you have to see what's our vision in our market, what do we want to be? Are we want to be an agriculture country or industrial country or what? Hospitalities and management company? What we are looking for or what's our vision just to be. And from that, we are guiding the education to be in that. There is a lot of rules actually and legal affairs that the President Sisi have done lately, which is really a great rule when I open a university. So I should have a global partnership with the same industrial, with the same field. The aim of that is to improve the standards, because this criteria, when I have an accreditation from the global, which is global accreditation from all over the world, which is certified as the first 50, top 50 universities in the whole world we should combine or cooperate with. So definitely, these partnerships will make us focus to implement in the standard or the global way as they want us to be. So, and that's definitely regularly, it will improve our performance. And that will lead to our market.
Yes, yes.
What the market is, so what the education leading to.
Yes.
So they are completely integrated.
Yes. Dr. Jihan, how do you see the role of international partnerships in raising the standards of education?
I see that's very beneficial because when we cooperate standards global shifts, and when we are making a protocol or MOU or making, like cooperation between any external entity, as we agreed that this is from the top entity in the world and we are cooperating with, of course, this is something will improve our standard of education in all fields. But we have to choose the right partners, which is already related to what our vision will be in the market. And moreover, related to culture-wise. So there is some things that it can be customizing, but this is a very important step to start with. And it's already, we have this, by the way, long time. But maybe nowadays it's more focused because we have a lot of vision in the way of the country itself, or Egypt itself is having 2030 vision. This is completely focusing on the improvement and global partnerships.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Dr. Jihan, what is interactive education?
Okay. It's coming from the name itself, When I come to interact, I am sending and receiving and sending again and doing, projects. And these projects should be analyzed. And this analyzing, it has another report of impact. All interactions. It's not only a blank or dead sending and receiving. Interactive learning, meaning that I am already doing all the actions, all the activities, as it's already in the class. So, and transformed and translated to digital online. There is actually a successful story here in Egypt, in some of the international schools and private schools actually. They are making that model. And this model are really very successful, and they didn't face any problem in COVID-19. Because when we start COVID-19, we transfer completely to online. And when I start with the online from the beginning and making the interaction step by step, so I'm not talking about COVID, I'm talking about any crisis, for God forbid, that maybe will happen, what we're going to know about it. But we have to be ready. We have to know exactly what is interaction or interactive learning. Interactive learning, this is 90% action from the student himself. Okay, and 10% only from the educators or the teachers. Okay, we have the rubrics, we have the guidelines, we have the curricula, and the device is there. It's just a tool between here and there, whatever the device is. But we have to know the real guideline for interaction.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Jihan Zahran, education technology consultant. Thank you very much for being with us in this edition of Women's World. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this edition of Women's World. I'm Hala Al-Hamalawi. Many thanks for being with us.